Hey, what's up, my beautiful people? It's your boy Devo, some motivational, back with another day trading QQQ recap. And I'm very excited I'm really always excited to get on here and talk with you guys. But today I'm actually kind of a little extra excited because we are pumping as we speak, okay? And so we have a lot of news, a lot of good news, um, and it just ties into everything I'm telling y'all. This news that we got today just ties into everything I'm telling y'all. Okay, so let's get straight into it. I know it's late, and so I don't want to make this video too long. Okay, so to start the day, well, let's just go to the markets. Okay, let's just go to the markets to start the day. So as we know, yesterday we had this big sell-off, right? We had this big sell-off, and to come into the day, we actually gapped up. We gapped up towards the area of support, which we used as resistance yesterday. We gapped up onto an area of support and got a pump, and you'll see why I have this right here. And we got this pump. So why did we have that pump? Well, we had news come out. Sorry about this. I should have had this pulled up for you guys. We did have um we did have news that came out, but that news actually came out very late. This news actually came out very late. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna find it on here, so I'm just gonna show you the news that we do have. Um, so the news that came out late was basically this, and I felt like because the market makers always have inside knowledge, right? So it gapped up and it already pumped. And about 12 o'clock, whenever we actually had some good news come out, we actually started dumping. So that's where we always just want to follow price. You always want to follow price. We look at the news and want to know what the news is telling us because of potential reactions, right? But these people that have the big money that control the markets, they are always ahead. So with all the bad news that we had yesterday, no good news, right? Why did we have a gap up to start the morning, a run up, and then when we had good news, actually get published out for us retail investors and retail traders? When we had that good news, that's when we actually had the sell off. So we had a pump, and that's why I didn't get in for a call because I was actually wary. I was like, okay, well, we're itching towards the area of resistance. Okay, well, we're cleaning up this gap, and I didn't want to really get in for a call because I'm like, okay, at any point this can just be manipulation and then some type of dump again, right? So I didn't even trust it. But that's where I'm reiterating to myself because I know this, but reiterating to myself because today I didn't follow it. Follow price, okay? Follow price. If you get your strategy, if you get your pullback, follow price. Don't act like you know more than what the market is doing. You see what I'm saying? I was over here in the morning, like, no, we still have bad news, all this bad data. There's nothing to pump the markets out of the news because I'm looking at all the news. There was nothing to pump the markets, but the market is going up. It gapped up and is going up. I'm like, no, okay, and that's where I'm putting reasons into my head on why it's pumping. I'm like, okay, we have a gap right here. They're trying to manipulate us. You see what I'm saying? Instead of just following what the market is actually doing, okay? So that is where I messed up at. And so I'm gonna show y'all my trade, show y'all where I got in at, and stuff like that, and then I'll go over the good news that we have actually that came out that we could potentially have a huge run up tomorrow. I'm not gonna say huge because we already have a run up, and I'll go over that. I'll go over that. So to start the day, we we started up at the support. What did I say? You always want to have whenever you start, whenever price wants to gap up or gap down or starts the day, you always want to see it near an area of support. Remember I told you that, guys? I told you guys that yesterday. You always want to see price near area of support or near area of resistance because that gives you a easy signal on where price is gonna go, right? So since price started off at, okay, man, the candle. I'm trying to figure out which side of the candle. I believe it's at the bottom right here. Okay, since price started up right here at this 437, right? And we had an area of support at 437. It ran up, and you're like, okay, let me want to see a trend because we know this is at an area of support. Well, it actually ran up. Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that. Price started at 438. Sorry about that, my good people. Price started at 438, came down, gave this little range before popping up and actually using this area of support, right? Use this area of support. It gave a pullback, and this is where I've been in my 5 minute lately. So this would have been my pullback. Why? Excuse me, my good people. Why? Because we have a gap, fair value gap, right? So we have this down, up, creating an uptrend, came and retraced into this fair value gap. Obviously, we want the 3 candles, but it didn't give us the 3 candles in our 5 minute, right? It just gave us one big wick and gave us another big wick, testing this area again, showing, gave it power. Jesus Christ, that's where the buyers stepped in. The buyers defended this area, came back down, tried to test it. Buyers defended the area again, knocked it up past this area of resistance, right? Came down, tested this area of resistance, made it support. And this is textbook. And this is where it's like, I'm going to capitalize off these moves, okay, guys? Trust me, I'm going to capitalize off of them. I'm still learning, and it's basically just going over these things. I'm just gonna keep going over it till I can just keep consistently capitalizing off it, right? And so remember, investing and trading, it's not a marathon. I mean, it's not a sprint, it is a marathon, okay? So remember, I didn't make money today, but I will make money tomorrow. Did I lose money? I lost $30. That's not bad, right? And I also had what I felt was a good setup, right? So, but I know why I was wrong, right? So I did potentially have a good setup, but we were still in the uptrend. We were still in the uptrend. I should have followed price action, okay? So let me show you where I actually got it at. So we had this pullback. See, good pullback. Touched this gap in our 1 minute, because our 5 minute, the fair value gap was these candles. It came down and touched one of the 1 minute fair value gaps, as we see, and that's where it's textbook. These fair value gaps, order blocks, it just shows you how these things work. These support lines, it just shows you how these things work, how this was a resistance, and it did use it as a resistance before breaking through, then making it support. So I'm just showing you guys how these things work, okay? And so where did I get in today? So this is where I didn't follow price. I was looking for any reason to get a down move, right? So what did we have? We ran up, we came up and broke this area of resistance and made it support, right? Before ranging. Why was it a range? Because we had equal highs, equal lows right here, right? And then what did we do? Excuse me. We broke out. And what is another pattern that we know? Well, price likes to, what's a pattern that we know? Well, price likes to create a trend, and then it'll range, right? It will accumulate, and then it will manipulate, and then it will distribute, right? To actually go away it wants to go. So why did I expect that to happen? Instead of actually reacting off of what price is doing and follow what price is actually doing, I tried to get ahead and think price was going to drop, because I'm like, okay, we don't have no good data coming out. And like I said, we didn't have no good data coming out. It was bad news. None of the good news came out yet. And so I was looking for any reason to go short, right? So I was looking for this. We had the uptrend, right? We broke through this area of resistance. We ranged, we accumulated. When I got this manipulation and this little drop right here, that's when I was kind of convinced because I was like, okay, well, this is a manipulation. And I was like, okay, it's trying to distribute. And this is where I had my pullback right here. Let me delete this real quick just so y'all can see. So I had my pullback at these wicks right here. I'm gonna mark it just so y'all can, just to make sure y'all can see. Excuse me. So this is where I had my range. I had my range right there. And then I had my manipulation breaking out of the range. And then when we started to break down, I was like, okay, maybe that is the pullback for my distribution, right? What is distribution? It's that drop after the range, right? And so whenever we started to drop, I was like, okay, because like I said, I was looking for any reason to go short. I wasn't following price. I was thinking, I was trying to get ahead of the market. I was trying to think, I know what the market does. You can't do that. As a trader, as an investor, you can't. You can't put what you think the market should do. The market is going to do what the market is going to do. You can't jump ahead of the market, okay? That's why we always react to the market. That's why we wait for our pullbacks. Because even though we see price jumping up or we see price dropping down, we don't just hop in because we can't just react. We do react to price. We can't just assume what price is going to do. We want to wait for the pullback. We want to see a breaker structure. We want to see another pullback to confirm that we're in that trend. You see what I'm saying? So we can react to that. We don't want to get ahead of the market because we don't know what the market is going to do, okay? And so that's where I'm still learning and going over it, right? So I was thinking manipulation before it dropped down, and then they were trying to give a little pullback, and then I was thinking we were going to get, again, this manipulation, a little pullback, right? And then a distribution down, right? That's what I was thinking was gonna come. And so that's where I did have good disciplines. Why? Because look at this. So I waited for that pullback, right? I didn't just hop in as soon as it started dropping, even though I thought it was distribution, right? I waited for my pullback. And since I waited for that pullback right here, where's my stop loss? Well, my stop loss has to be at the top of this candle, right? Because if price wants to come down, that should be the manipulation, then distribution, right? So if price wants to break that high, obviously it's trying to continue going higher, right? And so that's where I had a tight stop loss. I got in at these wicks, right? I got in at these wicks with this stop loss up here with honestly my targets would be this low, and I would take partials, and then I would take partials at this low, and then I would just let it ride. I would just let another contract ride if I had two contracts. I only had one contract in, but if it did break this low, probably gave me another pullback, I probably would have got in for another one, right? And then just let price ride, right? And so that's where if I had my thing right here, we would have a 4 5. Jesus Christ, that's a 1 of 5. I don't think that's really a 1 of 5. And this thing be kind of messed up, but it's still a tight stop loss. You see the red, right? And so I got stopped out. Price, what did it do? It actually just used this range as an area of support, which is common. We see that all the time, right? You'll see that all the time if it's not manipulation, right? So it just used the top of this range as support and then broke up. This candle right here stopped me out. But what did I want to wait for? Whenever it was going up, I couldn't get out because I got to wait for that 1 minute candle to close, right? Why? Because you don't want to just hop out once that candle crosses your stop loss because it can get wicked down, right? And that's what they call liquidity sweeps. They will jump it up, the price will jump up or it will drop down, but then it'll get bought up and it'll be just a liquidity sweep, right? You'll have a wick. It'll just be a strong wick, like these wicks over here. Not saying these are liquidity sweeps, but this is what you will see in a liquidity sweep. You will see, excuse me, say if price actually did want to do the distribution phase, it could come up right here with this candle, but this candle would actually create a strong wick and not actually stopping me out, and that would be called a liquidity sweep, right? For the people that did get stopped out, right? So I just waited for this candle to close. It closed, got out. I don't care that this next red candle came down. It would have lessened my loss. I don't care about none of that, right? After this candle closed, I got out. Follow your disciplines, right? Because you never know. After this candle closed, we could get another big candle, just like right here, right? Say if your stop loss was right here, and you see this candle jump up, and it actually did come down, so it wouldn't have stopped you out, right? It would have closed right at your stop loss. So that's not a stop out. But then you see this big candle right here, and then you see it kind of wick down. And what if you're like, let me see if it can just lower my loss, and then you get another big candle. You see what I'm saying? And that's where your losses get bigger and bigger. And I know these things because I've done it multiple times. I've been price has supposed to stop me out, but I was like, no, this is too big of a loss. Let another candle try to come down and shorten my loss, and then also we get another candle to jump up, and then you're still trying to wait. You're like, oh man, now that's even bigger of a loss, and you're waiting. So you see what I'm saying? Just follow your disciplines. If you get stopped out, it is okay. Okay, losses happen; those are part of the game. But you got to learn how to take those losses and bounce back and hop back on that horse. Okay, because when you follow your disciplines, I lost $33, right? $33 isn't bad. But what if I would have just held on, and that's where your losses get bigger and bigger because you're not following your disciplines. Just like on that 2-3 weeks ago, right? I didn't want to get out. I didn't want to take the loss. And that $100 loss turned into a 200, and then I still didn't want to get out. It turned into a 300, and then it turned into a 400. Next thing you know, it's like, you know what I'm saying? So that's where just follow your discipline. And if you're taking a loss, if it stops you out, if price goes above your stop loss and you know it shouldn't, just take your loss, okay? Take your loss, because ultimately holding it would not make it any better. Sometimes it will cut it. Sometimes, like this candle, this red candle right here would have cut my loss down. Probably from $30 to $15, but just take your loss, you know what I'm saying? Don't take that chance, okay? And that's where you just practice your disciplines. And it was hard for me to get out, right? Because I'm like, oh, man, it should have been a winning trade, Like, obviously, I don't want to lose a trade, but I'm like, okay, I lost. You got to accept that you lost it and get out before you widen your loss. You see what I'm saying? And so I thought it was going to be a manipulation, distribution, before getting a pullback, and I thought it was going to distribute, but no, what did it do? It used the top of this range as an area of support, bounced up some more, right? And so this is where I'm saying this was the key, like, this was the easiest uptrend you're ever going to get. Like, this was easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it used this area of support, created the trend, came down into a 5-minute fair value gap and a 1-minute fair value gap, right? Broke back up, heads to this area of support, and then ran back up. Obviously, this move right here would have been like good to get off, to capitalize 440 to 442. I wouldn't have really used this area of support to get this move in. I would have probably just used this pullback and took my profits up here and called it, right? Because holding it like this with the support, it can work, but I'm not really a support and resistance trader. I like to see price react off of my support and resistance and come down to a fair value gap, like exactly like right here, and come down to a fair value gap before breaking structure again. Because your support and resistance can fail if you're just depending on support and resistance. And every strategy can fail, so it's all about your strategy, right? But I like to see price react off of my support and resistance, then give me a pullback to my fair value gaps or order blocks, okay? And so that's pretty much why So then good news came out, right? So Trump ended up talking because he had put today they announced Paul Atkins into the role of I think SEC or something like that for crypto, right? Paul Atkins is like the leader of crypto, right? And so they announced him in, and so President Trump was also talking, and at about 12 to 1 o'clock, sorry, about 12 to 1 o'clock, that's when we actually seen this drop, right? Because that's where I'm saying that's why you got to follow price because the market, the insider people, they have more knowledge than us. They're in the rooms talking to these people before us retail investors and traders can even get the news, right? And so that's what I'm saying. We already had a gap up, a run up, and then the good news came out, and then you would be like, oh, okay, the good news is out. Let me hop in the trade, and that's where they fake you out. You see what I'm saying? But we know it's good news, and I'll get further into that, right? Because that's a whole nother part. So let me just tell you what Trump said, okay? Which is the really good news, which why I'm gonna go into why we have a huge pump and why our portfolios are green, okay? And so recently, U.S. Sorry about that. Recently, U.S. President Donald Trump said at a press conference that his discussions with China are going well, adding that he thinks they will reach a deal. That is wonderful news. He said that tariffs on China would not be as high as 145%, but they would not be zero, okay? And so I actually listened to the speech. This is kind of just like summary of everything, but actually listening to the speech, President Trump said that the tariffs are going to be substantially lower on China. They're not going to be close to 145%, but as this says, he said they wouldn't be zero, but there would be substantially lower than 145%. He also said that him and President Xi have a good relationship, which they've always had a good relationship. Just they've had these little tariff war back and forth, right? But they've always had a good relationship, right? But he said they have a very good relationship, and he could see them working out a deal that would be good for both of them. Okay. He also said that Trump added he had no intention of firing Chair Jerome Powell. Despite being frustrated with the high interest rates, he said the press runs away with the things. No, I have no intention of firing him. I would like to see him be a little bit more active in terms of his idea to lower. Excuse me. Excuse me. I would like to see him be a little bit more active in terms of his idea to lower interest rates. Whew, excuse me, guys. Excuse my good people. Whew. Not even tired. I don't know why. Okay, so President Trump, they asked him if he was thinking about firing Jerome Powell, and he actually said no, he is not thinking about firing Jerome Powell. Basically, walking back everything he said with the tariffs as well, walking back everything he said because he said everything. He said he's had very good talks with all the nations. That China's tariffs will be lowered substantially. He said that he has no intention of firing Jerome Powell, none whatsoever, and all he wants them to do is be on time or be earlier with the interest rates than later. He prefers them to be early or on time rather than late, right? And so, because if he does wait too long, we could end up in that recession, which now with all this good news, I don't really see happening, but we're still not out of the waters because everything isn't completely done, right? Everything isn't completely lifted. All the tariffs aren't completely lifted up, but he but President Trump did say he is going to lower the tariffs. He did say that him and China are working out a deal and that they're in good like spirits right now, that they're working on a deal. He said that all the other countries are coming to the table and he's working out a deal with them. And that's just really good news for the market, right? Let me see. Yeah. I have some stuff about Elon Musk to tell y'all too. Excuse me. Okay, yeah. And whatever with that. Okay, so yeah, that is why. That is why. Sorry, I'm trying to find it. Okay, that is why we see this, right? So with market open, Nvidia was at 98 bucks, Tesla at 237, QQQ opened up at 238, the SPY opened at 521. I just know that off the top of my head, but we can go to SPY just to show y'all. Actually opened at 520 before using this area of support as resistance, breaking up above it, coming into this gap, which I'm pretty sure if I come to my 5-minute, it was pretty textbook. Jesus Christ. Yes, sir. And this is where I might come back to SPY. I'm mainly on SPY, but then I go to QQQ because I see clear price action on QQQ. But then when I go to QQQ, then I see like clear price action on SPY. So tomorrow I might be trading SPY. Okay, SPY is usually my bread and butter. I just tried QQQ for a little bit, and I've traded QQQ before, but mainly most of the time I'm on SPY, and I think I'm gonna come back to SPY because this is just too pretty, right? Came into this 5-minute fair value gap. That is just too pretty, right? So we see the down using this area support as resistance, right? Because we opened up under it, so it was using as resistance, broke up above it with a fair value gap, came down, tested this fair value gap before running all the way up. And that would have been a 520 to 525 easy, right? Easy, without anything, without any struggle, right? Had these little pullbacks, little retracements, but you see these dojis. That means these are indecision candles. You see that buyers bought this up. We have a hammer because we have a bearish hammer. Price bought that up. We see this is like kind of like almost like a doji, almost like it, not sort of like it. But yeah, I think tomorrow might be on SPY. But so we seen price open up at those levels. Oh my God, sorry guys, all over with the screens. So we seen price open up at those levels, and then after markets closed, what did we see? So we did get a lot of good news during the market. Excuse me for this. We did get, like Scott Bessent said, and I wish I could bring it up in the investing.com, but I don't know, on the computer it always acts weird. It doesn't show the news on it, right? On the investing.com. Only on my phone I'll see all the news, but on the computer for some reason it doesn't show it, okay? But Scott Bessent was saying that the US and China trade war with 145% tariffs is not sustainable. And good news was coming out during what I said when we were having this drop in price. Good news was coming out. But oh my goodness. Okay, right here. But these talks, when President Trump was actually having a speech, this was when market closed, right? I believe this was when market closed. And so, everywhere with it. Oh my goodness. Sorry about that, my good people. Probably should move this one over. Jesus Christ. Okay. Sorry about that, my good people. It's not going to be edited, okay? Well, I will put something in the intro where everything else is going to stay in, okay? Because I love you good people. Y'all have seen the authenticity, okay? And so, in after hours, we seen price run up. We seen all sectors run up. Tesla up 5% off of bad earnings. Tesla actually had bad earnings, okay? And, oh man. This is where I'm not prepared for you good people. I had this pulled up, but I closed it. It looked easy right here. So Tesla's earnings estimate 21.85 billion, reported 19 billion, growth -9%, surprise -57%. So Tesla's earnings were not good. They were not good at all. But Tesla was basically Tesla was already so far down that it's pretty much, you couldn't go any lower. I'm not gonna say you can't go lower, because you could go lower, but it was already so beaten down. Remember, Tesla is down over 50% from its all-time highs, right? And so any good news was gonna pump it up, right? What was the good news we got for Tesla? Well, let's come over here. Elon Musk says he's coming back to Tesla, partly stepping away from his high profile and controversial Trump administration role that has been blamed for a plunge in profits and sales at the company. So he's saying he's coming back to Tesla and going to be focused on Tesla more. Musk told Tesla investors on Tuesday that he would scale back his efforts at Department of Government Efficiency to a day or two a week starting sometime next month in May. Starting next month, May, my time allocation to Doge will drop significantly, Musk said during a Tesla earnings call, which is extremely good news, and that is why we've seen Tesla pump to $250. And let me pull up my Robinhood right now. Tesla is at $250. Okay, I was just making sure, right? So we seen Tesla run up with bad earnings, run up $13 in aftermarkets, and I actually did buy some more Tesla. And I'm just gonna, anything I say is not a suggestion for you guys to buy, hold, or sell, but I'm just telling you what I did. So off of this good news, remember yesterday I told you guys, I said we want to buy in red, buy it at the discount, and I said we could possibly go lower with all this bad news and what everybody's saying, how we had the recession chances, we had Goldman Sachs and all of them saying the recession chances. We heard Trump saying he want to fire Jerome Powell. But what did I say? Anything Trump says is going to move the market. So now today he's saying he's reversing everything, saying, no, I don't intend on firing Jerome Powell. I think he's doing a good job. I just want him to be on time with the interest rates. He still wants him to lower interest rates, but he's saying he doesn't want him fired. He's saying the tariffs with China will be substantially lower, not zero, but substantially lower. He's saying that they're working at a deal and that they will be in a good place, right? And so that is pumping the markets, right? As I said, anything that Trump says is going to pump the markets, right? And so that is, if them tariffs whenever the tariffs get worked out, and these interest rates get dropped, we will see a major rebound, right? And just off of Trump's comments, they're not even put into place yet. The tariffs aren't even off yet, but just off of those comments, we see Tesla is up $13. Tesla is up 5%. I wish they showed Meta up here. Meta is up 3%, up $15. Nvidia up 3% to $102, and we got to keep in mind these things. Excuse me. These things at market open, $98. Tesla was at $237, but in that we know that the market open had a gap up. So yesterday it was even farther down, right? Oh man, I don't even know what I pressed. Okay. So yeah, see, pre-market, $98 on Nvidia. Pre-market Tesla was $231. So just today we had Tesla jump over $20. Okay, and we've had the SPY, which is the S&P 500, jump up 2%, $13. Right, that is huge. Right now the SPY. So let's come back to the SPY. The SPY was at 527 at the close, and what is it at now? The SPY is at 534. So it's actually at this area of resistance. What did I say? That is perfect. Why? Because we want to see rejection and a downtrend, or we want to see it break through this area of resistance and trend up, okay? And I will get further in. And I want to make this kind of quick. I know it's getting long, and so I want to go over what I think is going to happen tomorrow, but I'm just going over why we have this pump and also telling you guys how that's why we dollar cost average in our positions. Even if we think the market has a potential to go lower, dollar cost average, put in $20, $30 whenever you see the market just dropping and dropping, because you never know when you're going to get news like this, okay? Please, if you didn't watch my video from yesterday, please watch my video from yesterday, because I was literally telling you guys what I was doing in investing while it was red. And now today the market is green. And so what am I? I'm up on my meta because I told you guys yesterday my average cost of meta was 498. So now I'm up 6% today in my meta, right? Tesla, what did I tell you? I told y'all my average cost was 239. Well, I bought more today. So my average cost is 237. So today I am up 6% on my Tesla. Nvidia, I bought more Nvidia today. I lowered my cost. I bought Nvidia while it was at $100, right? Now it's at 102, but my average cost is $107. So just today I'm up 3%. I'm down overall. I'm down overall 4%, but today I'm up 3%, okay? And so right now I'm in Nvidia, I'm in Meta, and I'm in Tesla, right? And we don't talk much about crypto, but Bitcoin is flying up. Bitcoin is at 92K. I don't have much Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is at 95K, and all of crypto is pumping right now, right? So this is all very good news. Why has Bitcoin been holding up? Because Bitcoin is digital gold. Just like we know gold is hitting these record highs whenever the market drops, Bitcoin is like gold. It's digital gold, like just like I said. And so it stayed afloat and was still going up slowly, but it whenever the stock market pumps up, crypto and Bitcoin will not go down. Bitcoin will actually follow it, right? So as gold does the reverse, whenever the market drops, gold pumps. Whenever the market pumps, Bitcoin pumps. But now we're seeing, even if the market is falling, Bitcoin will fall a little bit, but it will still hold steady, right? So that is why Bitcoin is such a good asset, right? Because it is digital gold, okay? And so I just want to tell you all that a little bit about the market, and we're green right now. And so that's where you get rewarded off of buying in those red days. Because whenever we have these big pumps, because we never know what Trump is going to say, we still want a dollar cost averaging, but we want to be cautious, not just going all in because of this good news. Because tomorrow or next week, it could be reversed again, right? And we're still not completely out of the waters, okay? So right now, we're still at very good prices, so we can still be dollar cost average again. As I was doing today, I was buying a little bit of Meta, I was buying a little bit of Nvidia, and I was buying a little bit of Tesla, okay? So that's a little bit just going into it. But this week, I will have a full breakdown video on dollar cost averaging and investing in red and all of that. This week, I plan on coming out with that video. I'll probably record it Saturday, probably drop it early Sunday, or probably drop it that Saturday, okay? So that's what I plan on doing. And please, guys, if y'all have any suggestions on videos y'all want me to make going over things, please drop them in the comments down below so I can go over things with you guys, okay? Because I love doing these recaps, and I go over some of the things, but I don't want to make the recaps too long. Like, I already know this video is going to be kind of long. Yesterday's video was kind of long, but I don't want to make the videos too long and lose y'all's interest, because I'm trying to tell y'all a lot of information in each video, okay? So please, if you guys want me to break down things in more depth in separate videos, please let me know so I know that, okay? So what can I see tomorrow, right? So tomorrow I will be looking at SPY. So let me just start off with SPY. We're already at 534. What can I see? I can see us using this resistance, dropping down, cleaning up this gap, maybe getting a reversal up, or maybe we might fake out everybody because we are so pumped up right now, right? So SPY is at 534, we can probably actually have a downtrend tomorrow, so it can actually trick out the traders, right? So it can trick us out because we have all this good news, but we're not completely out of the waters yet. So it won't just be, I'm not gonna say it won't be, it probably won't just be a huge buy up because we're not completely out of the waters yet. So we could have a fake out tomorrow where we actually have a drop instead of a pump, right? And it could just be kind of cleaning this area up, this gap up, and also just kind of using this area of support at 520, okay? So that's what I can see. What am I leaning towards? I'm honestly leaning towards bearish tomorrow. because I'm thinking about a fake out. Why? Because we have these run up already in the aftermarkets, right? The market is already so pumped up aftermarket, right? The SPY is up $8 aftermarket. QQQ is up 451. What did it close at? I think it closed at 444. So the QQQ is already up 7. It's at 440. It's at 451.95. So 452. So it's up $8 as well, right? So I can see us getting a fake out tomorrow and actually getting a bearish move before using this 520 area of support. And on my QQQ, I believe the support is 437. Yeah, so we pumped up to this Jesus Christ, we pumped up to 451. Jesus goodness, we're at 451. So yeah, this is another area of resistance right here at this 452. Trying to get a pretty number. It'll be a little off, but it's a pretty number. It'll be a little high, but it's a pretty number. And so since we are close to that, depending on what pre-markets do tomorrow, because obviously we still have time to move, right? But if we start at this 451, we could potentially get an up move before using this resistance to break down. Or, and remember, I'm gonna follow price tomorrow. I plan on executing tomorrow. I lost $33 today. I'm not worried about it. Yesterday I made 12 bucks, so I mean, I'm down probably about 20 bucks, right? I'm not really worried about that, right? That's basically a fee of trading, right? So I'm not worried about that. So what can I see? I can see us, okay, sorry, either starting at this 451, like I said, using this area, bouncing up, using this area of resistance before trying to continue a downtrend to trick out everybody, right? Before pumping back up later in the day. But I could see a downtrend to start the day and then getting a little pump later on in the day, right? Or maybe we could start at this 451, hit this resistance, kind of knock down a little bit, but then breaking that resistance and using a support like we always do, right? But remember, follow price, right? Watch your news and everything, but make sure to follow price, right? Price knows what it's doing. You don't know better than what the market is doing, okay? Just because you see bad news, if we see the market pumping, well, you better follow price action because the price is going to tell you everything, okay? And so on the SPY, what can I see? Since we're already at the 534, we're already at 534. I can see us hitting this before using that as resistance and knock it down, create a downtrend, excuse me, to trick everybody out. Or we could start at this 534, hit this resistance, because we will get a reaction off of this resistance, right? Get a little down, probably like a little rangy area before breaking through, then using it as support before trying to pump up to this 542, okay? So tomorrow, I am ready. And so I know I tell you guys every day, and I'm ready for tomorrow, I'm ready. But it's truly, I'm ready, you know what I'm saying? Even though because if I don't, I lost 30 bucks today. I made, yesterday would have actually been a really good trading day, but I got scared. I didn't want to risk nothing. I got out plus what, $12, which is nothing, but I could have been up hundreds. But I'm not worried about it, right? Yesterday in my mind is a successful day because I'm seeing that my strategy and what I'm showing you guys and teaching you guys works, okay? And so today, I got caught in just me thinking I know more than price, not getting in at an area. Sorry, I thought I knew more than price. I thought price was gonna drop. It's not that my strategy didn't work or nothing. It's that I was just looking for any way to go short, right? So I waited for any type of manipulation, but I didn't see that it used that as support because I was so focused on I want to see price drop. But no, you got to follow price, right? And so I'm not worried about it. Sticking to strategy, sticking to my disciplines, and every day I'm getting better with those things, okay? So I can't see us create a downtrend to kind of trick us out, or maybe we will gap and go. What is a gap and go? Whenever we gap up, like we did today, we gapped up and we went. We ran up. We gapped up and ran up. That's what a gap and go is. Or we can have a gap and I don't know what the opposite is called, but we could have a gap and then kind of clean up and then kind of a fake out for everybody, right? So we're just very prepared. And again, I know I tell you guys every day that I'm excited and ready for the next day, but I truly am, okay? I'm truly am excited for tomorrow because every day is a new opportunity to chase your dreams, to get better, and to honestly change your life, right? And to better your life, okay? So I love every single one of you guys who are with me on this journey. I hope I added some valuable information to you guys. I know these videos are getting long. I'm work on cutting them down and not be so long, right? But I'll be trying to get out the info for you guys, okay? So I hope you guys enjoy it, right? Please like, comment, and subscribe. I love every single one of you guys who are with me on the journey, guys, okay? And so remember, you guys, stay persistent, passionate, and make sure y'all get paid, all right? Peace.